Hi guys, welcome back to Simply Watching TV. Today is the last episode of Girlfriend Season 1, episode 22, Jamaic-Up. I used to always think it was Jamaica-Up. I don't know. But anyway, this is the final episode. This is the whole showdown between I was going to say Joni, but basically Joan and Toni combined. So let's get right into it. All the girls trying to cheer Toni up because she done went through her little breakup with Greg. And again, rightfully so. Like, you knew you were cheating on this man, and you trying to like be down in the depths trying to figure out, where did this breakup come from? Like, coincidentally, it just happened to be after you were engaged to a completely different man and got a sexually transmitted disease. That's pretty crazy that you think none of that has anything to do with the fact that y'all broken up. But whatever. Miss Janetta, real one for making some fresh greens for Toni. Like that. Lean on your friends and their family. They would have had to get out of my room with all that singing. Like, forget my troubles and get happy. Forget your troubles and you get out. But that's what friends are for. To change your dirty sheets. I bet it just reeked in that room. Like, how long has she been in there? Oh, okay. So Joan tells, I keep on calling her Joni. Joan tells Maya and Lynn finally, what exactly happened between her and Greg that led to him breaking up with Toni. I would have took it to the grave. But then again, I also wouldn't have had the conversation with Greg and told him in the first place. So, I mean, I just wouldn't be in this situation at all. But that's just me. But of course she feels terrible about it, so she over here asking them what she should do. And everybody's like, oh, you should tell her. You should tell her. William's still trying to stop Yvonne from being all she could be. Like, she was a cop when you met her. I never get that. Men always, like, are fine with who you are when they meet you, and then the second y'all get in a relationship, they're like, okay, I want you to change this, I want you to change that, I want you to change that. I mean, women do it too, but still, like, that's just, she was a cop when you met her. What is she supposed to do now? Again, like I mentioned in the last episode, what is she supposed to do now? Be a housewife? No. I mean, I get the concern, because that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to date somebody in law enforcement. It's just because I don't want to get that call that you've been shot and you've been like killed in the line of duty. And again, I said one of the reasons, but again, she was a cop when you met her. So it's just like, you have to kind of assume that like they're going to want to keep doing that. And you have to like be okay with that until they want to be like, hey, I want to start doing something else. I know that's right, Yvonne. If your man don't act right before the trip, cash his ticket in, okay? And she upgraded. She done got herself some first class because he didn't know how to act. And that's absolutely right. We're not waiting on you to book a trip. We're doing what we need to do. Joan should have known Greg wasn't going to take Toni back. Like, men can't handle being cheated on, especially in that, like, in the way that it was so messy. That was so messy. He was never taking her back. Now, y'all who watch the show, y'all know what's going to happen later, but technically, I don't count that as him taking her back. So, we'll get into it in season 2, I think that happens. But he's not taking her, like, for real, seriously, like, he's not taking her back. He's not even considering it. Men don't handle that kind of stuff well. I'm with Lynn. I want to go to the Sinbad festival, but I don't want to be spying on Yvonne and making sure she don't talk to nobody just because you don't want. I mean, at this point, why don't you just go? Why don't you just buy a ticket yourself, William? You don't need me to go and spy on her. But again, I want to go to the Sinbad Music Festival because I want to have a good time. But Lynn, stop lying. Now that you're done with school, you're not gonna get a job. Like, that's the last thing on your list, actually. You're going to go to this festival, and then you're going to come back, and you're going to keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. You're not getting a job. Honestly, I didn't think the trip was going to help. Like even the thoughts, the beginning stages of thinking about this, I didn't think it was going to help Toni in the slightest. I didn't get the point. I didn't think she was going to even. But would I have disagreed to the point of me not going? No. Dawn is such a drag. Like, you got a problem with her going to Jamaica. You got a problem with her doing this. You got a problem with her doing that. You don't have a problem with her keeping your stuff in her garage, though. Water implants is the least you can do when you are staying here rent-free and you're keeping your stuff in my garage while you go to New York. And I want y'all to remember that, because he's going to come back from New York. And she's been keeping his stuff in her garage this whole time. But when he comes back, so yeah, Sean, like, we're not done ripping Sean another one, because he's like off the chain, and I really don't want to hear your opinions on how I should handle this situation with Toni, because I'm literally 2 seconds off of you too. I am glad that Joan brought up and threw the storage in his face, because what you're not gonna do is talk to me like that while your stuff is literally in my garage. Like, you can feel how you want to feel, think what you want to think, do what you want to do. You're not going to talk to me crazy while you're living in my house and your stuff is in my garage. Like, it's just not going to happen. Of course, Joan paid Lynn's way to Jamaica. How else was she going to get there? Of course she did. And introducing Vasco. Minor detail, but Lynn could have taken her shoes off before she sat on that off-white couch with her foot folded under her. Your shoes done been everywhere under the sun. Why do people do that? Now, no, seriously, why do people do that? Like, they be shoes on and everything, and they be sitting crisscross applesauce on somebody's cream couch. What? Not Joan trying to set Toni up with Sinbad. Like, girl, you just doing anything at this point. I mean, we might have been with you trying to set her up with somebody at the festival, but Sinbad? No. Everything is so male-centered. Like, as soon as Yvonne walked into the thing, Joan was like, what are you doing here? You already have a man. Look, this is a whole vacation on a whole island filled with other people. I don't care about that 10 men. What if I just want to take a vacation from work? I am working on the police force. I need a vacay. Everything don't have nothing to do with William. By over here having epiphanies at European Wax Center. Girl, if you don't go home and be with your husband for the last time, people have only been begging you for like the last month. Go home. Lynn in love with the bellhop. It trying to set Toni up with Sinbad, and that's the reason why you was like follow him around and stuff. After you set her up with Terrell Davis and that took off, why are we still following Sinbad around? Give it up. Toni was acting crazy. Like, after everything that you just experienced and you just went through, after everything, you were with Greg, even though you already knew he wasn't going to be a good match because of his financial situation. But you were with Greg, you decided to fight it out. You meet Dr. Spencer, who was everything you wanted, but you claimed you wasn't in love with him. So instead of being completely backbiting and running off with him to Paris, you decide that you're going to break off the engagement. Too bad your boyfriend already found out and broke up with you. So then after all of that, you decide, hey, why don't I christen this moment by getting engaged again to somebody else I don't know? Joan, please let this be a lesson. And I mean after what's about to happen in this moment, but let this be a lesson, because it's not, the first instance wasn't a lesson enough for you, but let this be a lesson about meddling in other people's lives. And you just gotta let grown people do grown things. Okay, you open your mouth, you tell Greg about Toni, he breaks up with her. Technically, it's not your fault, because eventually he was gonna find out some kind of way somehow, but you kind of sped up the process. You open your mouth and you tell her what you did. Now you done got slapped all over Jamaica. Like, what? Learn how to close your mouth. I told you Lynn wasn't getting no job. Now over here, not only did she not get a job, but she caught herself staying in Jamaica. How is that going to work out? Selling jet skis? Girl, don't call me asking me to send you a one-way ticket so you can come back, because you got it all figured out. You and the bellhop got it all figured out. And I'm like, Joan, I don't have time for this right now. I just got slapped in here trying to save my friend. This whole trip was a bust. I'm out thousands because I done flew half of y'all heifers here. I'm stressed and I gotta go. And my own relationship at this point is at stake. And for nothing, I have to go. Simply I must go. Not William popping up at the 11th hour on the Sinbad music festival trying to propose. Well, will you quit the force for your husband? And then I don't like that proposal because this is all wrapped up in me quitting the force and not you wanting to be with me till death. I don't promote violence, of course, but Toni would have got jumped. Why are you on my couch in your bra and your brassiere and your evening in your lounge wear in front of my man in my house? How'd you even get what? What? Why are you here? Now that's Snake. Now, this is where the episode ends, right? And it cuts to season 2. Baby, when I tell you it wouldn't be no season 2, because if I was Joan, we would not be the way we would not be friends anymore. The way we would not only not be friends, but I have it out for you, girl. You better not catch me catching you around town. Because what? That was crazy. Like on the couch. And then got up like, so what you gonna do now? Girl, what? Because I let you get away with hitting me in Jamaica. I let you have that one. I did. Because I said, you know what? This whole thing is my fault. I shouldn't have opened my mouth. I let you have that cheap shot to my cheek. But you didn't have to come back here and you didn't have to do this on my couch with my man. That's crazy. And he's standing over here talking about, yeah, whatever. It may not be your fault right now, but it's going to be your fault at some point, at some time, because you just, Child, that's where we end. We are about to get in season 2 so we can unravel all of this activity between Joan and Toni. And then now we're going to be introduced to the actual Darnell. Flex Alexander has left the building, and we're going to be introduced to the real Darnell.